Hello and welcome to this faction summary of Bay in Total War Pharaoh. Bay is the supreme survivor and master manipulator. Appearing weak and friendly to deceive his adversaries comes naturally to Bay, who is tired of watching the spoils of high Egyptian society from afar. As a low-born Canaanite, he understands that true power can be won through relationships as much as it can in battle. He may choose to rule Egypt via a puppet pharaoh or assume a royal name to veil his foreign heritage. The rewards for being his ally are vast, at first, but it will not be long before he starts to take far more than he ever gave. Bay comes with a playstyle of master of intrigues and court politics. With a strong diplomacy, he is though often outmatched in battle. Regarding unique units, we find strong ambushers, access to vanguard deployment, stalk and sneak ability, but weak face-to-face units and chariots. Starting off with the Canaanite tribesmen, two-handed spear infantry, Canaanite warriors, sword infantry, Canaanite javelin infantry, Canaanite vanguard two-hand axe infantry, veteran Canaanite warriors, axe and shield, Canaanite slingers, slinger infantry, Canaanite spearmen, spear and shield infantry, elite Canaanite vanguard two-handed axe infantry, Canaanite ambushers, veteran Canaanite slingers, and finally Canaanite stalkers. The faction buildings for Bay, we first find the regional fair, which has firstly a production all resources plus 20% and another production all resources plus 15% in the province where it's built. The downside here is -3 to influence. Next up we have the Smuggler's Bay, which provides food and wood income. During the collapse it's 360 plus food and 35 plus wood. During the time of crisis it's 280 food and 25 wood. And during the prosperity phase we have 145 plus food and plus 15 wood. So as time progresses you will gain more from this building chain. The downside here is it does decrease happiness by -1 in the province as well as the influence. And the important note, it's not affected by income modifying effects. Next up we have the singing competition, which does provide +4 to happiness in the province, +3 to influence in the province, +2 to happiness in adjacent provinces, +3 to happiness in the province, and +1 to adjacent provinces. And finally we have the Chief Scribe's Headquarters, which provides +2 to legitimacy, influence per non-aggression pact +2 in adjacent provinces, diplomatic relations +5 with all factions, and we have production all resources +10% in adjacent provinces. Reaching the faction summary screen with the strengths and weaknesses unique to your faction as well as the key concepts. We start off with the faction specific buildings, which does provide a major source of resources and also a major source of happiness. The downside here is it does require high influence. For faction units we have a good at charging, we are best at ambushing, but weak at holding the lines. For the commands we have instant royal decrees, and we have increased influence across your faction. In the court we can take plots from other factions, and suggested position is Vizier. For the outpost as Bay you start with 2 outposts, a Shrine of Thoth and a fort, both in Sidon. The Shrine of Thoth reduces construction cost and increases happiness. Pray there to reduce the cost of siege equipment for a few turns. And the fort can hold a garrison of units. Send your army to it to either add its units to the garrison or add units from the garrison to your army. And for native units as Bay you start in Fenku, which shares the native unit roster with Yamhad. The rich port settlements of this realm are the source of well-equipped warriors like the Canaanite sellswords that carry javelins to throw as they charge. Use them to harry the enemy lines. And the Syrian archers have composite bows which deals a lot of damage per volley. Use them to take down armored enemies who are stuck in melee. Regarding titles as Bay, your titles provide influence on the campaign map, bonuses to ranged units in battle, and grant abilities that enable ambushing, such as vanguard deployment. Regarding legitimacy, we don't find any unique to the faction of Bay. So we move on to the Canaanite. As Bay, you starting thank you and you own no sacred land, you gain more legitimacy from holding a court position than other factions. Equipment. As Bay, your starting equipment is a medium armor, a sword and a small shield. Use your bodyguard unit to flank your enemies and cut them down. For terrain and weather, in Canaan, rain tends to be more common than either in Egypt or Anatolia. It makes ranged combat more difficult, so in turn, Canaanite units are better at melee, with some of them capable of vanguard deployment. Their armor is either medium or heavy, which protects them well, but weighs them down in warmer weather or muddy terrain. Worship Thoth. As Bay, you can construct shrines to all Egyptian gods more easily. Shrines of Thoth reduce the construction cost for buildings and increase the population happiness. Thoth's prayer reduces the cost of siege equipment for the respective army. The devoted general's army has higher armor and they can force defenders in sieges to surrender more quickly. That's it for this quick faction summary, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to leave that like and subscribe for more Total War content. See you in the next one.
The Canaanites to the north are little more than barbarians, desperately clinging to the goodwill of my empire and the trade that Egypt brings to their shores. My liaison Bay works to pacify his feral countrymen. Though Canaanite by birth, he's practically Egyptian in his learning and civility. His letters read like poetry, sharing wisdom with eloquence and making him proficient in diplomacy with his neighbors. But I'm no fool. His charming politesse is but the grass that hides a venomous snake, poised and ready to strike. Is Bay a gift from the gods, or is he the hidden dagger waiting to be plunged into Egypt's back?